Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. The Spooky Mama month ended already. I know we're sad. Back to my dull little setup here. November, there's only two little holidays I can go with. One, the fellas know. The other, Thanksgiving. I can't really think of a name for Stuff Yo Mama month. And I've been demonetized. Things have been pretty slow and dry lately. I think that's all because the world is at a standstill with the election going on. But us over here on Side Flick, we're that awkward individual who sits patiently until the politic talks are over. So let's try and continue our escapism into a little bit of movie talk news, because we do have some stuff going on in the world of the movies. Some things we're going to be discussing today is a lot of minor updates concerning Spider-Man 3. There's been a couple of things that have changed, I think, that are worth mentioning. We have here further details on the horror movie prequel for Orphan, as well as the Insidious franchise getting a 5th movie. That along with so much more, guys. So many of your opinions down below on everything we discuss here today. What news got you the most excited? What was able to distract you the most from the horrors going on in our real world? I'd love to hear just some positive vibes today in the comments, because I could really use them. As well as don't be forgetting to hit that like button if you're enjoying some side flick in your life. So let's start off here with some talk on the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie. If you don't know, yes, there is a live action Mortal Kombat movie in the works that as of right now is set to be coming to us in January of 2021. It's gonna be a full R reboot, trying to stay true to the tone of the Mortal Kombat video games. In past updates, we've talked about how directors and producers have said that they're going all out with the fatalities in this film. Makes me just really excited to see this thing. And it doesn't look like it's coming out in January now. We had actor Mehcad Brooks take to his Instagram to give us a quick little update to what is going on with the production of Mortal Kombat. Towards the end of October, he went ahead and posted this photo saying, "I can't wait for you guys to see Mortal Kombat and meet Jax Briggs. We put our blood, sweat, tears, heart, and soul into this movie, and we are beginning additional photography for this masterpiece next month." And if what he's saying is correct, that means reshoots or planned additional photography for the live-action Mortal Kombat movie are currently happening, and there is just no way that within 2 months we are going to be getting this Mortal Kombat film. I will be shook if it actually goes down. Not only that, as movies usually need a good 6 months to start marketing their movies as big as this, like a Mortal Kombat live action adaptation that's rated R, and the clock is ticking where this thing is less than 3 months away, so it looks like an announcement for a delay is pretty imminent. But with the movie theater industry not getting any better, this might be one that they go ahead and release on VOD. I could see that being a possibility because of the R rating that this film was given. It does have a relatively low budget from what I understand. I'm gonna remain optimistic and hope that this is still coming in January, but it is not looking bright. I am telling you, Hollywood right now is waiting for December and how Wonder Woman and those films do. If not, we're just gonna see a continuous push of all these movies, or them just starting to end up online. With you guys hearing this update on the Mortal Kombat reboot, do you think we're gonna be getting it in January, or you think it's getting delayed like everything else? Moving on from there, something that I didn't get to talk about that happened just a couple of days ago during Blumfest. That was the virtual online event where Blumhouse was so gracious to give us a Halloween Kills little teaser trailer. That was awesome. Did a breakdown on my channel if you want to check that out. But one thing they announced there that I definitely still wanted to bring up, even if it's a bit of old news, is that they are going to be pushing ahead and be giving to us Insidious 5. Blumhouse, you telling me you giving us Insidious 5 and you still haven't given us a clear update on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Alright, tell me about Insidious. And I don't know how many of you guys out there are kind of like me, where you kind of gave up on the Insidious franchise after the second movie, because I'll be honest with you, those are the only two I've seen. The third one did not have the main characters coming back. Instead, it shifted gears to a girl. I did not hear great things, so I didn't go see that. And then the fourth one, I definitely did not hear great things, so I didn't see that one either. This fifth one, though, actually does have me interested to go back to the Insidious franchise. Deadline here has it reported that Insidious 5 moving forward with Patrick Wilson making his feature directorial debut. The father in Insidious, the first two movies, as well as the guy who plays Ed Warren in the Conjuring franchise, he will be directing this fifth film. It'll be his first time directing. And with that said, essentially the main characters of the first two movies, including the little boy, are returning for this fifth film, making this fifth Insidious film really feel more like Insidious 3, where it's a direct continuation of what's happened from the first two movies. Some details of what we can expect to see story-wise about this movie goes as, I'm honored and thrilled to be at the helm of the next Insidious installment, which will provide an amazing chance to unpack everything the Lamberts went through a decade ago, as well as deal with the consequences of their choices. Directing the movie is both professionally and personally a full circle movement for me, and I am extremely grateful to be entrusted in continuing to tell this frightening and haunting story into the further we go. So that's essentially where the story will pick up. We'll look at this family that was haunted, that was traumatized by the events, and the Insidious franchise, at least those first two movies, really do have a hold on me, because even though they're PG-13, they scared the hell out of me with the music, with some of the designs of these demons or ghosts, whatever you want to call them. To go back to that and see how the family has dealt with the aftermath of this 10 years later, I think sounds interesting. But you guys hear about this, are you curious to see Insidious 5, or could you do without it? Continuing on with this horror train, we have another horror film here that is finally getting another film. Instead of a sequel, it is a prequel. If you didn't know, there is a prequel currently in the works for the movie Orphan. Now, I think there's a lot of people in the horror community that know this movie, recognize it, and it's popular for one main reason, and that is the ending twist of the film. Now, I don't want to give away what that is, because I think it's worth a watch and might fascinate some people who haven't seen or heard of this film. So here's a timestamp for the next movie news story, so if you haven't seen Orphan, you can just move along here, because to explain this prequel, you kind of have to need to know how the first film ends. Alright, so moving forward, if you're here, you're okay with getting spoiled. We have here Deadline reporting what the title and the plot line of Orphan will be, which sounds really interesting to me. Deadline here has it that the Orphan prequel will be titled Orphan First Kill, and it will have the return of Isabelle Fuhrman, the girl who played the orphan in the first film. Now, immediately, like I said, if you saw the first movie, you're scratching your head like, okay, how's that gonna work? Is the real life actress have that same disease? Because the twist at the end of the first movie was that that wasn't a little girl, that it was a full-grown woman with a rare disease that made her stuck looking like a child her entire life. And no, the actress who played the orphan in the first movie does not have that rare disease. She's grown up and is double the height of what her character was in the first movie. But this is how the article explains how they'll get around all that. Some of you are probably thinking de-aging. William Brent Bell is already shooting Orphan First Kill in Winnipeg. In order to help Fuhrman bring her character to life again, filmmakers are utilizing a combination of forced perspective shooting and a world-class makeup team. I know we like to throw the word de-aging here and there, just like, oh, they want to bring in this old actor to play a young character. De-age them. The Marvel movies do it all the time. Even some of the Star Wars films. De-aging is expensive, son. Like, not every studio can afford it, especially a horror movie that's a prequel to a film that's over a decade old. I'm kind of really curious now to how this is going to turn out, because that word right there, forced perspective shooting, that just makes me think of those illusion rooms where if you have one person standing on one side of the room and another person on the other end, one will look drastically bigger than the other, even though they might be the exact same height. I think they could definitely pull it off here. As far as what the story will go, it's just essentially the prequel of how her character came to America, the first family she tried invading, and a mother played by Julia Stiles who's going to be fighting her once she finds out her secret. So I'm on board for Orphan First Kill just for these practical illusion effects that they're going to be throwing at us. I want to see if the only reason I enjoyed the first movie was because of that ending twist, and now that I know it, what other twists can they throw our way? She have a twin that has the same disease? I don't know. We'll see if they even throw a twist our way. But you guys hear about this. Are you excited for the Orphan prequel, or could you have done without it? Moving on to my favorite crime fighter, here's Spider-Man. We got a lot of little updates concerning Spider-Man 3, the film that just gets crazier and crazier by the day with just all the wild rumors and crazy speculation going on. But here on my channel, we're going to be focusing on the facts and what's really been going on. Some stuff to point out with is a lot of Spider-Man fans got really excited whenever Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned in the Spider-Man movies, posted his reaction to reading the script. The man had a very surprised look on his face, but that could be anything. I mean, that would have been our reaction to seeing the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, is that Peter Parker's identity is worldwide knowledge. So who knows at all what he reacted to, but what everyone is talking about is just the major weight loss actor has had for this role. And there's a couple of theories going on why this is the case. One that many comic book fans might be pointing out already is that Ned is gearing up to play a villain in Spider-Man 3, and that is Hobgoblin. In the comic books, the character of Ned did eventually become a version of Hobgoblin and fight his friend Peter. I don't think they'll be going with that version. There just hasn't been any setup at all, and it would be so random for him to just all of a sudden become bad or hypnotized by some poison or goblin gas, whatever you want to call it. I think what this shows a little more and kind of has me like, oh man, is that we'll be getting a sort of time time jump in Spider-Man 3. I really thought Spider-Man 3, still unknown what its title, would just take place directly where Far From Home ended, and we would see Peter Parker and what he goes through the minutes that he realizes the entire world knows who he is. Does he go after Aunt May? Does he start protecting his home? What are the steps this guy takes to, like, okay, what do I do now? And if the movie did decide to take place directly after those events, it'd be weird if in only a couple scenes ago Ned was, you know, his bigger self, and now he's just major weight loss. So maybe Spider-Man has been on the run or in hiding all this time. But aside from that, other little updates we have here is everyone is banging on about that this month of November in 2020, Marvel finally gets the full rights back to the character of Daredevil. Now this is kind of big news because earlier leaks about Spider-Man 3 that was going to be going down with Tom Holland, even before these crazy rumors about the Spider-Verse going on, was that Peter Parker would be needing a lawyer for this movie to kind of take care of the aftermath of him being accused of killing Mysterio, or now the police department of New York coming after him for all his vigilantiness that he's been doing. And since they're filming Spider-Man 3 right now, and Tom Holland said they're going to be filming for the next 5 months, Marvel could have planned this out to like, oh, we'll have Daredevil by then, and we'll throw him as the lawyer for Spider-Man. As much as I would really love to believe that and would want that so badly, I think if they're going to throw a lawyer who's a comic book superhero in this Spider-Man movie, I think it's going to be She-Hulk. They already have a plan for She-Hulk. They probably have her Disney Plus series all written out and know exactly where that character is going to go. And if they introduce her in a Spider-Man movie, by the time her show comes around, there's already millions of people who know the character of Jennifer Walters, and it's like, oh, I saw her in the Spider-Man movie. Let me go watch her Disney Plus series. And the other minor update we had about Spider-Man 3, and why I tell you guys you can't always be listening to all the rumors, leaks, and reports out there, you might have heard, if you've been listening to all these reports, is that there was a leaked Miles Morales tape going around that was connected to Spider-Man 3, leading everyone to think, oh my god, they're finally going to introduce Miles Morales. He's showing up. He's going to take the mantle from Spider-Man and probably kill one of the 3 Spider-Man we have out there in the Spider-Verse. Well, now it's been revealed that the origin of that audition tape was actually meant for a role casting in the TV series Titans. That is the Teen Titans live action show that they have going on in the DC Universe streaming service. And even though the actor was portraying Miles Morales and reading lines from a Spider-Man comic, the role was actually to play Tim Drake in the Titans series. So that really sucks. Doesn't look like Miles Morales is coming, but this Spider-Man 3 movie is just all over the place. I just want to know what it's actually about and what's going to be going down in it, because my expectations through the damn roof right now. How do you guys feel about these small little Spider-Man updates, and what got you excited or what bummed you out? But that is just all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. Like I said, it's kind of a slow time right now, and that's because everyone has their eyes on a certain election. So I tried digging up some of the best stories I could find online just to bring you a little entertainment. Didn't know what else I could talk about here. I mean, you guys didn't want to hear about the guy from Spy Kids possibly playing the fox in the live-action Pinocchio movie? Oh, you did? Oh. Did you guys ever try to do that floop thing? I could never do it. Floop. But let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed here today. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.